Almost there. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to Wildcards, our occasional sojourn into the world of all things fast, furious, and fun in Savage Worlds. And here is our contractually mandated opening music. And that little tune lets you know this is a high production value podcast. Only the finest, ethically sourced, geeky conversation, farm to table for your podcast listening pleasure. Today we have Mr. Karl Keesler. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Doghouse Rules going to talk to us about their current Savage Worlds offering, Sidewinder Recoiled, which is now on Kickstarter. In fact, just I think in the last hour they broke goal, so it's now fully funded. And you can check it out at tinyurl.com/SidewinderRC. You've got 17 days left. Karl, tell us about this game.
Oh, okay. So thanks for having us on, Mike. Hey, Ross. Thank you for having us. But yeah, this is basically what we're calling a traditional Western. We're labeling that because Deadlands does the Weird West amazingly. You know, it's got a little bit of steampunk, a little bit of horror and stuff like that, and I love it. I'm a big fan. I play it. This is what we're dubbing traditional Western, meaning that not only is it part historical, but it's part cinematic. So we don't want history to get in the way of your cool game. So if you want to change things or whatever, go for it. But this doesn't have magic. This doesn't have horror. This is basically, if you want to play like a John Wayne or a Clint Eastwood or Louis L'Amour type novel, this is that. This is traditional Western at its best.
So I got to tell you, I've been craving traditional Western.
Yeah, nice.
My friend Charlie Spicer, who you probably know or will see at Genghis Khan coming up next week.
Okay.
Charlie introduced me to this old show from the 60s called The Big Valley.
Oh, yeah.
And The Big Valley is basically like every episode's like a mini movie. I mean, they're like 60-minute episodes. They're chonky.
Yeah.
And they're just fantastic. Like every time I watch one of these episodes with Charlie, I'm like, this would make a fantastic game. Like I want to play the events that are happening here.
Right.
And I've talked to him a couple times about like, man, I'd love to play a Western, but I don't necessarily want to play Deadlands because sometimes I just want the Western part, not the Weird West.
Right.
Not that the Weird West isn't cool. It is. It's super cool. But so is traditional Western. So I'm really, really excited to see this come along.
Oh, awesome. Really appreciate that. Yeah. Hopefully we scratch that itch for you because I myself, I played in the original Sidewinder Recoiled D20 Modern way back in the day. I played in a campaign of it. My buddy ran. And it was just straight up Western. It was amazingly fun. It was so much fun, you know.
Speaking of original Sidewinder, check this baby out.
That's the original OG.
That is this book back in the day.
Yeah, this is the OOG from 2001. So, yeah. Believe it or not, my first writing is in here, but you won't find my name in the credits because the company screwed up. I got a letter from the president to like prove it that I wrote because it was like I was a young designer and I'm like I want to get in the industry and they're like yes you can write for us. I'm like cool and then but yeah, Sidewinder's
realization the industry was a little shady.
Sidewinder was my intro to professional writing.
Side, so that's amazing. And that was the first edition of it by Citizen Games, and then from there, one of the guys from Citizens branched out and started Doghouse Rules with me and 4 other guys, and that's when we came out with this Sidewinder Recoiled, and it's like the second part of that. This book is.
Wasn't there Reloaded before that?
That was Deadlands Reloaded.
Oh, Deadlands Reloaded.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
They're very similar names. So this book was based on the D20 Modern system. I don't know if you can see the whole thing. It's kind of like my screen's fading out. But this was
very glossy cover.
Yeah. So originally, this book was a PDF only, and then Green Ronin got a hold of us, and they say, "Hey, we have this line called Mythic Vistas?" and they published it for us. They put it out in print for us. But originally it was just PDF only, and we did a deal with them, and so you can find some soft covers of it out there. Yep, that's it. Yep, that's our PDF cover. Yep. So that's where 20 years ago we put that out in 2003, 2004, and it went well. We actually won. We were nominated for 3 Ennies for it back in the day, and we won one for best electronic product back in 2004, if I remember. So that was pretty exciting for our first thing out there. We won an Ennie for it, so that was pretty cool. But from there, we kept putting out supplements and stuff, and you can find all this stuff on Drive-Thru, and it's all D20 Modern based. It's all under our company still, so you can find it on Drive-Thru. We have adventures. We have we have a whole town that we did called Fort Griffin. We have supplements called Fort Griffin Echo, which are little add-ons and rules and stuff like that to it. And then from there, we discovered Savage Worlds. We got an ACE license, and then we're putting this out today. So
I want to say a couple things. For anybody who doesn't know Karl, Karl is an amazing game master and an extremely talented graphic designer. I know him as the guy who always had the coolest looking table with the best looking character sheets. Whatever convention he was at, I was like, my God, that table looks awesome. And you are now a professional layout guy for Pinnacle, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I do freelance stuff for them. So yeah, I have been doing stuff for them since Adventure Edition.
It was a really smart idea for them to hire you because, goddamn.
Yeah, thanks.
He ran a game of Mystery Men that I got to participate in. I played The Sphinx, and it was super, super fun. With not only one of my favorite movies, but a really, really great time. And if you ever show up to, he comes to Genghis Khan in Colorado quite a bit. But if you go to any convention where Karl is and you look at a table and you're like, man, look at all that cool ass terrain. Look at all those cool ass character sheets. That's most likely a Karl Keesler game.
I appreciate that, Ross. I remember that game. That was at Tacticon.
That's right.
In Colorado Springs. I remember that. That was a lot of fun. I revamped that game for the new Adventure Edition. I've ran it a few times since then with the new Adventure Edition. It's a lot of fun. It's super fun.
So Doghouse Rules also has, despite the name, it is not a pet care facility. Doghouse Rules is, in fact, a publishing house which has some really fun things like Trailer Park Shark Attack that you should check out. Sharkano, not NATO, Sharkano, like a volcano full of sharks. And Bad Night in El Rey, just to name a few.
I think we should also point out that he is part of an elite club that I think the only other member of is me. That is people who are publishing Savage Worlds products that involve cocaine.
Yes. Yeah. So recently I came up with an adventure called Cocaine Shark, and I've been running that last year. And matter of fact, next week I'm going to be in Genghis Khan running that again. So it hasn't been published yet. It will be. It's in line right after Sidewinder Recoiled. So, and of course, Mike. There you go.
There's the Cocaine Alba. Savage Cocaine Alba that Ross ran on this very podcast. Just
that's awesome.
So if you want, I can have Ross get you this. We'll be there at the.
I'll bring a copy with me.
Oh, awesome.
Just for you, Karl. But yeah. So
awesome.
So we'll both be at Genghis Khan next week. But yeah, so just for anybody who doesn't know, yeah, Karl's extremely talented dude, and Doghouse Rules is a really cool company. I am, like I said, beyond excited for Sidewinder. So it's so cool to have you with us. Can you tell us a little more about? I guess let's start with what's different about Sidewinder Recoiled for Savage Worlds.
As of what, to the old one? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, so let's say I'm a Savage Worlds player and I've played Deadlands forever, and I'm like, why should I play Sidewinder instead of Deadlands?
Okay, I got you. So it's funny because I'm a huge Deadlands fan, like I said, and initially years ago we were actually asked by some of our customers, hey, are you going to ever make Sidewinder Recoiled into Savage Worlds, because you guys are going really good with Savage World stuff. And we're like, well, what does that book look like? We have no, can't you just use the core book for that? Or can't you just use Deadlands and just take out the horror elements? So we thought that for many years, actually, Chris and I, who are in Doghouse now. And it wasn't until we got on the Savage Pathfinder development team. So Shane asked us if we could work on that with them. And so Chris and I got on board with the Savage Pathfinder stuff. And we started working and trying to figure out how to make basically it's a D20 game into Savage Worlds. So we took a lot of information and a lot of knowledge and learning from that Savage Pathfinder into this project. One of the main things, to answer you, Ross, is in D20 they have classes and stuff like that. And if you know, in Savage Pathfinder, we had an idea to turn those classes into class edges. And so not only you can make whatever you want to, pretty much, because it's still Savage World, so you can make a hybrid type fantasy character in Pathfinder. But you can also, hey, I'm playing the barbarian, and you take the barbarian class edge, and guess what? You're playing a barbarian that has only, cool barbarian special abilities and stuff like that. So we're taking that idea into Sidewinder Recoiled for Savage Worlds. We're in the original D20 Modern, they had classes, and I think they were called like renown. I forget even what they were. Oh, advanced classes. That's what they were called. We're calling them renown edges. So if you want to play a gunslinger, we have a renown edge that you can go into, and it's basically a core edge that has trees. There's like an edge tree that goes off of it. That's what we're calling it. That gives you special abilities that only the gunslinger, if you take the gunslinger edge, for instance, that's the gunslinger can do these cool things. And it makes you feel like a gunslinger as you play. Desperado, same way. Bounty hunter, same way.
Couple of questions for you. First, you say Chris. So who's Chris?
Okay, sorry.
Which Chris?
Yeah, there's a lot of Chris's. So Chris Warner, he's my partner in Doghouse Rules.
Okay.
It's just him and I now. We took control of Doghouse Rules a couple years ago, and it's just us two. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And the second question I have is the things that I guess I should say this. It's not really a question. The things I'm hungry for in a Wild West game. I want to pan for gold. I want to rob banks.
Mm-hmm.
I want game master advice that tells me how to get that Western feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you would agree, like one of the most important things about a Western game is making it feel like Silverado, right, or Paint Your Wagon, or any of the John Wayne films.
Right. Right.
So are those kind of things? Will I find ways to support me in doing those kinds of activities?
Yeah, I think Chris has a lot of. See, Chris is the main writer on here, and unfortunately, he can't be here right now. He might be able to be on later, but maybe he can answer a little bit more if he does. But yeah, I think he has plans to put things like that into the game, into the core rule book. I know there's going to be a lot of history involved because he's a big history aficionado of the West, and I am a little bit, but not on the levels that Chris Warner is. That guy's amazing. So in the original Sidewinder Recoiled, we had sidebars and stuff, historical sidebars that he took writings from Bat Masterson and actually converted it into like game type terms and things like that. And I think he wants to continue some of that in this book. So there will be actual blocks of history type things that will give you a little bit of background on Panic and Gold and stuff like that. And game terms, I'm pretty sure that I think he's going to put something in there along stuff like that will help you get the feel of, hey, I'm in a Western. Yeah.
Well, if you're not familiar with it, I would definitely recommend you guys check out Knights of the Dinner Table has run many strips about a fake game, a fictional game called Cattle Punk.
Yes.
and Cattle Punk is like, that's the Western I want to play. Like, you get like some baron hires you to drive 500 head of cattle all the way across Texas, and like, I'm like, that sounds awesome. I would play that. Let's do that. Or we're gonna rob the train when it rolls into town, or like, just I feel like there's a lot of stuff. If you guys aren't familiar with it, yeah, it sounds like you are. But if you're not familiar with it, you should check it out for sure.
Yeah, it's hilarious stuff, especially when they start naming the cattle.
Right? Oh yeah, well that's from the cattle drive. Yeah, that's true.
That's great. Yeah.
But it sounds.
Show.
So I mean, I guess the other question I have is, So if I'm a history guy. Yeah. It sounds like I'm going to find a lot of great stuff in there. By the way, since you're here in Denver, if you get a chance, there's the Buffalo Bill Cody Museum, which is right up on Lookout Mountain.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's a lot for the history guys. If I'm a Western movie guy, is there stuff for me in there as well?
Yeah, there should be just the flavor and a lot of the stuff. We have new showdown rules.
Ooh.
I
like that.
Yeah, so we have a jumpstart actually out there for free right now. It's on drive-through. You can look us up, and it's called Soul Survivor, SOLE Survivor, and it actually highlights the showdown rules that we came up with. We play test that a lot. They're really fun. So yeah, if you want a showdown, a gunslinging type thing, that's definitely right out of the movies or something.
The Quick and the Dead. Right.
Exactly.
I want to do that as a game. Or
so interesting you say that, because the Jumpstart is a gunslinger tournament. So it is
perfect. That's exactly that is what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so you've got me hooked. I'm in.
And that's free. So I mean
310 to Yuma, stuff like that. Like that's the kind of stuff I would want to do with this game. So
exactly. Yeah, that's the Jumpstart right there. And it comes with, I think there's 8 pre-made characters there that you can print out and use. And we have all kinds of ideas, whether you're doing a 2 to 8 person big showdown. We have, brackets and stuff in there that you can, so it's something right out of Quick and the Dead. I mean, it's you could play something like that, and I've went through it a few times, and it's a lot of fun. Like every time, it's so different, and you can role play with this stuff too. It's not just rolling dice and saying who shoots who. You can totally role play with between the fights and stuff like that.
Well, that's what you want. I mean, you want to have the chances in the bar to talk shit or to brag or to size up your opponent, and then you want to actually go out there and fight and do the duel, and then you want to be like, okay, what's actually going on? Why is there really a tournament?
Exactly.
That's really cool. I love it. And
the answer is Illuminati.
Yeah, there you go. It's always.
Is there anything special you want to highlight from the Kickstarter? Any particular pledge levels or stretch goals, anything like that?
Yeah, so we're doing the version of the Kickstarter that we're using drive-through, because it's just Chris and I running Doghouse, and we're not actually printing the books. We're actually using the drive-through print on demand option, where basically you're going to get a bunch of PDFs right now, and then you'll get the option when you're finished the Kickstarter to buy these at cost. So, which cuts down a tremendously amount of the money. So, but the big thing we have, like if you go to he can keep scrolling. That's there's the whole kit and caboodle. So that's the big one. But that one gives you not only everything that we're offering, which are cards. We're making a player's book for this.
Custom illustration.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It comes with a custom illustration that we can put in the book. But not only are we making a core book, we're making a player's guide for it. So it's going to be a little bit smaller and a little bit more cheaper to give to your players. We're coming out with archetype cards. So if, for instance, like how Deadlands has their seasoned archetype cards, we're going to make some of those. But I think they're going to be 8x10s. And so if you're running a con game, you can just plop those down and someone's playing the Desperado.
Now,
bounty hunter.
do these books and the pre-gens and the character sheets, do they all have the Karl Keesler touch in layout?
Yeah, I think so. You can look at the jumpstart because the jumpstart is kind of what it's probably going to look like. We did give it kind of a look to it. I wanted to do something very graphic. Excuse me. And something really easy to read because Chris and I are getting a little bit older, so we made the font just a little bit bigger, and we're going with the big size book of 8.5 by 11, just because we want it big and right there and easy to read. But yeah,
So you can see the blow that up, but you can see the character sheets there. But I appreciate you guys doing a bigger book because like you're getting a little bit older, and it's just handy. I know everyone likes the
Me too.
digest size, but it's.
Yeah, I like it for some things, and for sure they're pretty cool. But we just wanted something just a little bit bigger, and just to read that font just a little bit more. So
now you said there's the Gunslinger tournament. Is there another adventure included with the set?
That's the jumpstart. So we have 2 stretch goals. There's not going to be there's going to be an adventure generator in the core book.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 2 stretch goals coming up that now that we made our funding, that we're going to come up with some. We have in the works some Savage Tales. So those are going to be the adventures that they're going to be. We're not sure about the length. I know I'm going to be writing one, so I want it to be pretty long. So almost campaign length. That's my goal. So Chris is probably going to be writing the other one. So those are going to be the 2 big adventures, and we're probably going to have more after that.
Cool. Are these like Savage Tales, or are they like a full-on like 16-pager or something? What are we talking about?
The one I'm writing might be plot point size is what I'm gearing for. So it might be campaign size is what I'm gearing. I don't want to say too much because it's
fair enough.
I'm writing it, but my goal is to make it pretty long. And Chris's, I'm not sure because his main focus right now is finishing the book up, as we speak.
Well, I'll say this: if you guys ever don't have an idea and you like just want a Savage Tale or one sheet or whatever, watch one episode of The Big Valley.
Exactly.
Just any one episode of The Big Valley, and you will find like plenty of inspiration.
Yeah.
That was the Major's first acting job, right?
Yeah, Mr. Farrah Fawcett. That's right.
Yeah, that's a great show. I've watched some of that, so for sure. But there it is.
Yeah, Linda Evans was 17 years old in that one. So
wow.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, just a few.
But anyway, so that's fantastic.
What's up, Murder Hobo Show?
What is there any particular tone or I guess reference? Like if I was going to go watch a movie and say this is Sidewinder, what would that be? What's the tone?
That's a good question because we've talked about that a lot. We definitely want it to be. We don't want to be too easy on, because it is the West, and we just kind of want it a little gritty. And we're hashing that over on how we're gonna figure that out. But the tone, it could be anything depending on what the GM and the players want to go for. You can go for like a spaghetti Western if you want to. Those types of cleans if you want to. I am partial, and I think Chris is. I know his favorite Western movie. I'm gonna say it right now because I know what it is. It's The Outlaw Josie Rails. Is his favorite Western movie.
I mean, that's a classic.
That's amazing. I've been along the lines of I love Lonesome Dove is probably my favorite out of the Westerns. I mean, I can watch that. I do own it. I read it over and over again. I've watched it so many times. So if I was running a Sidewinder Recoiled, it might be along the lines of something like that, like a long epic type thing like that. So we're not really going for so much a tone as leaving that up to the GM to kind of figure that out. We might give ideas on, maybe use this setting rule if you want to emulate this type of gritty type Western.
So anything from Three Amigos all the way to Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight.
The Three Amigos.
It's a Western. It's legitimate.
Technically,
exactly.
it's a Western. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want rules for the Phantom Swordsman.
Invisible Swordsman. Yeah.
Farley.
So
it's more of a Western toolkit, and you can do Tombstone. You can do Blazing Saddles. Well, maybe not Blazing Saddles, but you can. There's a whole continuum of Westerns you can do.
Silverado for me is like my favorite, go-to Western.
That's great. Yeah. But that's how the original Sidewinder Recoiled in D20 Modern was. It was more of a toolkit that you can just kind of build your own Western out of. So we're aiming for something like that.
Well, it sounds fantastic. Mike, what would you do with Sidewinder Recoiled?
My two favorite Westerns are High Plains Drifter and Tombstone.
Yeah.
And you get two very different flavors there. So for an RP, I mean, High Plains Drifter is almost one of those game challenges where you have a main character and everyone else is like a sidekick. So I'd probably be more inclined to say Tombstone because that's really more of an actual party situation. So, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of, you got your party of good guys defending the town against, a horde of bandits. So that's been done a million times in different movies. So
yeah, for sure.
That is probably what I want. But I've always wanted to GM a train heist. And I've never done that, so this could be a good opportunity for that.
Yeah, they could. Yeah,
train heister tight.
Yeah, that's classic Western stuff, man.
Yeah, especially with the vehicle rules in Savage Worlds, that could be fun. So that would be my big thought. Ross,
chase rules. So chase rules would be a great reason, or you could even make it a dramatic task. Frankly, there's a lot of different ways to do a train robbery. That would be super sweet.
Yeah.
Well, like I think Karl already pointed out, like the gunfighter tournament would be like a really good starting point because Quick and the Dead. Little known fact: there's actually two westerns named Quick and the Dead. One stars Sam Elliott, and the other stars Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, that's right.
Totally different films, but I think. I think a tournament would be pretty sweet, or like a 310 to Yuma prisoner escort would also be super fun. Yeah. And then of course there's the new Magnificent Seven, which is really, really, really good as well. So a lot of different options there.
Yeah.
Which is a little more pulpy as well. Which doesn't hurt.
Very cool.
Thanks so much for telling us all about this really cool new game, and I'm excited to see you guys already successful and see where you go from here.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I mean, it's been a pretty cool 3 days since it's launched, but we still have more to go because we want to get a little bit more funding so we can get more illustrations for the next adventures and things like that we have planned, because we have a lot planned. So
art costs money. That's the big rule of RPG publishing.
Yeah,
good art costs money.
Good art costs money.
Yeah, and so I'd like to point out that we do have, so far, we're using one artist, which is another cool thing that we wanted to do. Sorry, I have brain fart here. He's from, I think he's from Brazil, if I remember right. And he's an amazing artist that we're using his style throughout the book. We wanted to keep it kind of, we had an idea of the art style of just keeping this one artist and have everything kind of give it his look. And so it gives a certain flavor to it,
It's nice when you can be consistent like that.
Right.
We did just recently we did a Terror on the Dark Frontier for Savage Rifts, and it's Western with cyborgs and magic and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things I wanted to include was like a big bunch of wanted posters. Like I was like, you should have a wanted poster for this guy and a wanted poster for that guy as handouts, and it's a box set. Like, give them handouts. Be like, you're looking for this guy. He's worth this much, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's worth pointing out that there are tons of shows out there that people love that are actually Westerns. The Mandalorian, it's all Westerns.
Yeah.
Well, always has been, especially seasons 1 and 2. But yeah,
particularly seasons 1 and 2 are basically just westerns.
Yeah. All right. So, Karl, I think we should name check your artist since we've been talking about him.
Oh, sorry. Manuel. I'm going to butcher his last name, but you can see it on the Soul Survivor PDS.
I'm going to try Magalhaeus.
I think so. I've never actually said it out loud. It's only been through email and texting. But he is amazing. If you look at some of the art that we have in Soul Survivor, he has a very comic bookish type art that we want to kind of highlight throughout the book. And he's done some really cool stuff. I can't wait for you all to see everything. So
nice. Yeah, I like the clean black and white lines he's got. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. His style reminds me of Mike Mignola a little bit.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And some other comic book artists with that black and white style. But yeah, we're gonna hopefully use him throughout the whole project here. So yeah.
Actually, I just figured out what I would do. God dang. All right, so allow me to pitch you this idea, not for publication, obviously, only for a home.
Okay.
But it is the DC Comics Wild West. So you get Bat Lash, you get they had a pretty good amount of Western comics, you know.
Yes, they did.
There was like a guy raised by Indians. There's like a ton of them, and I would do something fun like that. I would say it's the DC Wild West, and you could run into some like cameos of like Vandal Savage or something like that along the way. I think that'd be super fun. But they're slightly larger than life, but they're still Western heroes.
For sure. Yeah. We did hit our goal. I think someone just mentioned we hit our goal. Yeah, we hit our goal right before the show came on, which is very excited for. But we still have a little bit more we want to get for the stretch goals. But very excited that we're 100% backed. I mean, it's just
best of luck to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm scrolling through the Jumpstart here.
Yes.
Soul Survivor, and holy shit, this is 47 pages long, people. You can pick it up for
47 pages.
47 pages.
That's one hell of a Jumpstart.
And it's free.
It's free. You can pick it up right now, right through RPG.
Yeah. So you'll see in there we've got some of the instances. You can see some of the edges that we're coming up with and things like that. And what I mean by the edge trees for the renowned edges. Yeah, someone said Trailer Park Shark Attack Old West. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be fun actually.
Yeah.
So let me scroll through here Yep, there's the edges, background edges. Just want to check out some of Manuel's art. Yeah.
He's got a really cool style there. See there on the bounty hunter, you can see there where we have the main bounty hunter edge, and then he gets edges under it that you only get if you're a bounty hunter. So we wanted to continue what we learned. We wanted to follow kind of what we learned in Savage Pathfinder, where because we really fell in love with the class edges, and we wanted to make something like this where you could plop down a sheet and say, "Oh, I'm playing the rifleman, a tribal warrior." And that's just some of the ones we have. There's more planned.
Nice. So yeah, you could. People wanted to do the Pepsi challenge. They can. They've got enough here to actually get a game started. So
I would say more than enough. 47 pages is that's significant.
Yeah.
As a man who's made a few jump starts in his career, that is you're setting the bar there, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is nice layout. It does look good.
I appreciate it.
Can I mention that you're doing a one-pager for me, Karl?
Yes. I hope you would.
All right.
I didn't know if it was a secret or not.
No, I'm all about talking about it. Okay. I am doing a Kickstarter in about 4 or 5 days for a Savage book that you've seen played on this very podcast, Savage Cocaine Owlbear, we mentioned a few seconds ago. And tinyurl.com/Savage Owlbear, and you can check it out. I will share the little pre-launch screen, and Karl has generously agreed to write a one-pager for me. That's
nice.
And Christopher Landauer has agreed as well. So we've got a couple stretch goals happening. And
if you wanted to ask a local friend of yours for a stretch goal.
Would you
Somebody
like to
may
do a one
have met
pager,
at the
Russ?
dog park. Yes,
That
I
would
would
be
be happy
awesome.
to.
I would.
Be happy to.
I thought maybe I'd already imposed on too much by asking you to run a game of Cocaine Owlbear on the podcast. I didn't want to wear out my welcome, but if you're up for that,
yeah, I am up for it. Let's do it.
If your Cocaine Owlbear tank is not full yet, that would be awesome, Russ. So,
very cool.
Anyway,
put me down with
folks.
the stretch goal. Yeah, it's fine.
All right, sweet. We got 3. No one can stop us now. When we first conceived this podcast about a year ago, walking around the Broomfield Dog Park, I pitched it to Ross as 30 minutes of fast, furious fun, and then we would wrap things up without rambling on too long. And here we are at 37 minutes past the hour.
Damn it!
Yeah. Any closing thoughts, anybody, before we call it a show?
The Wild West is super fun, man.
Yeah, check us out, Sidewinder Recoiled on Kickstarter. We've got a few more. We got a bunch of more days left to reach those stretch goals. So
and it's doghouserules.net.
That's right.
Not .com. That's the pet care facility.
Yeah, yeah, doghouserules.net. Thank you.
And for anyone catching this on iTunes or Google Podcasts, it's tinyurl.com/SidewinderRC. Take you right there. And of course, if you just go to Kickstarter and search for Sidewinder Recoiled, there you go. So should be fun. David Swain says Doghouse Rules. Thanks all. So
thanks, David.
And thank you, Victor. I'll be replying to your email. Good to talk to you, sir. And on that happy note, unless anyone else has anything, Karl, Ross. No. All right, we'll catch you all next time on Wild Cards. 70s cop show ending. Everybody jump.